Hey everyone, today's video is about Yandere, Todoroki, Bakugou, and Deku. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Let's get going! You had always been a little clumsy. It wasn't your fault, it was your quirk. Mishap, also known as the rot of all your struggles. Your stroke of bad luck started when you were 5 and hasn't ended since. You've been in bus robberies, car accidents, and have even been a hostage for a villain once. But it was alright, mostly. You've been learning to control it, or at least you thought you were. Your mishaps happened less and less. Bigger incidents occurred every few months instead of every other week. It was progress. It was a dim evening when you met them. You were walking home from work. It was getting pretty dark, and you knew with your lack of luck, you would be in big trouble. When the sun went down, and you weren't wrong, somewhere along your route, a B-class villain approached you, obviously enamored by your purse. You were sure that you were going to get away with at least a broken bone. When they arrived, heroes. You'd seen them before, the rising heroes who went by the names of Midoriya, Bakugou, and Todoroki. You never escaped a villain attack without going to the hospital first, but this time, you were left off without a scratch. You aggressively thanked them over and over again as the three brought you home safely. Midoriya and Todoroki flanked your sides protectively. Up ahead, Bago scouted the area, making sure he was just within range if something happened. For the first time in a while, you felt lucky. You expected that to be a last run-in with heroes. But less than 2 weeks later, you were caught in a broken elevator with 5 other people. When you realized it was Midoriya, who led the rescue team, you knew it was going to be awkward. You gave him a nervous smile when he recognized you, letting him pull you up from the wreckage before you wildly scurried up to the paramedic team. 3 days later, you got stuck in another accidental fire in your building. The flames were put out immediately by Todoroki's quirk, as you quickly gave your statement to the police, ignoring the hero's stare. But it was Bakugo who finally managed to confront you. You stood in the bank, where you had just been a hostage. The villain had already been dealt with, and the only people left in the building were you and a stern Bakugo. You bit your lip as he crossed his arms. So, your quirk makes you a fucking magnet for danger, he said after you stopped rambling. Well, basically, but you don't have to worry about it. I'm handling it. I'm honestly fine. You should have known that these words wouldn't be enough to save them. Bago must have told the others because the very next day, Midori appeared on your doorstep. He gave a bashful smile as he offered to walk you to work. And it wasn't just him. Todoroki would sometimes follow you around as you tried to enjoy your lunch break. Bago would take it upon himself to follow you to the mall on your days off. And sometimes, if you were lucky, all 3 heroes would walk you home after you finished your shift. It would always be the same. Midori would chatter endlessly about one thing or another. Todoroki would walk silently beside you, and Bago would walk a few paces ahead of you. At first, you didn't mind that. They were heroes, after all. Protecting civilians was a job they had to do. You figured after a few days, they would realize you were fine and let you go. Except, it just got worse. Much worse. Instead of coming separately, they started coming partners. They were planning shifts, deciding who would take care of you during your day. Monitoring you became an everyday thing instead of you something they did in their free time. They were smothering you, keeping you away from functioning as a normal human being. You couldn't go on trains anymore. What if a villain suddenly hijacks it? Midori asked. You weren't allowed near tall buildings. It might cool close, we never know. Todoroki muttered. You couldn't even go to your damn job alone. Some shit might attack you. Baku rasped. You didn't know why I endured it. For as long as you did. Perhaps it was because you wanted to believe that they were still trying to help you. Perhaps if you just ignored the unnecessary touches. Their possessive grabs on your sore shoulders. They will still be your heroes. But everyone has their limit. And you hit yours when Todoroki suggested putting a tracker in your phone. Enough! You stopped them. Enough, okay? Can't you guys see how insane this is? Midoriya paused in his recent rambling, looking at you in confusion. He hesitantly crept forward, acting as if you were some scared animal. What's wrong? He asked in concern, and you felt a brief wave of frustration wash over you. You sighed, stepping away from him. Todoroki and Bago were further ahead, but something told you they would have no problems catching you if you had any motion to run. This, he finally exclaimed. All of this. Listen, I appreciate you guys looking out for me, but I've said so many times that I'm fine. I don't need you babysitting me. Bakugo took a step forward. What are you trying to say? He spat out, but you ignored his warning tone. Stop following me around everywhere, please. Juan, Todoroki said in caution. We're trying to protect you. Yes, I get that. You guys are heroes. It's your DNA. He said dryly. But you don't need to follow me like this. What if you get hurt? I mean, don't you guys have better things to do? Midoriya paused and he continued. You can't keep following me around forever. You have other people to save too. I just don't want to be a distraction to your own jobs. It was half the reason you didn't want them following you anymore. And when no one spoke, you decided that was enough to keep them at bay. I'll walk myself back home. You finally said. You don't need to follow. You turned, walking past the group of fry heroes. Bago was the one who reacted first. With gritted teeth, he was about to reach out and grab you when... Don't. Todoroki turned, eyeing Midoriya in surprise. But she's getting away. I know. Midoriya nodded, watching you turn around the corner. But she's right. We can't keep doing this. We're starting to affect our jobs as pro heroes. Bago snarled. Are you fucking saying we should just leave her alone? Deku tilted his head, tapping his chin. Finally, he smiled. No, I'm saying there are other ways to keep an eye on her. This is insane! You kept repeating the same praise ever since you woke up in an unknown apartment. Letting out a shaky breath, you glanced at the three heroes in front of you. This is insane. You were almost surprised when Bago showed the most guilt out of the three. Todoroki just smiled. He looked like he was patiently waiting for you to calm down, something which won't be happening anytime soon. The way Midoriya said your name sounded so patronizing. It's okay. I know you're scared, but... Scared? Your voice sounded too shrill. To be yours. This crosses being scared. You kidnapped me. This is a crime. Why can't you understand that? Enough. Todoroki gruffly spoke, quickly losing the patience he had for you. This is a necessary precaution to deter any future situations. Your quirk must be contained. So that's your reasoning for all of this? You're treating me like I'm some sort of danger to society. No one has been hurt with my quirk except for me. The misfortune only happens to me. It is getting harder to talk properly. The growing wetness in your eyes didn't help. Please, just let me go. Midoriya shook his head. I'm sorry, but, we can't do that. We're just trying to help you. We know that this isn't a deal, but believe us. We're just trying to keep you safe. You gritted your teeth as Midoriya recited the same words he always did. Keep you safe was his favorite, even when his actions did everything but keep you safe. You were stepping out of line. You knew that, but you wanted your next words to sting. You wanted your next words to cut. This, you pointed at the ground, isn't keeping me safe. Only psychos and monsters do this. You guys are villains. You fell back before you saw him. He appeared in an instant, knocking you down, pinning you to the floor. His eyes flashed a warning, and you felt the grip on your shoulders grow tighter. Shut up! He seethed, crushing your body with his own. Next time you say something like that, I'll chain you to your bed. Todoroki and Midoriya immediately pulled him off of you, but the damage was already done. You curled into a ball, sobbing. You could hear bits and pieces of the conversation as the two berated Bago for his last action, but you didn't care. You were running out of tears, and perhaps Bago had crushed your lungs because it was getting harder to breathe. Relax, I won't hurt her. You could hear Bago mutter that shutting Midoriya. You heard his footsteps before he grabbed your face, forcing you to meet his eyes. They were nowhere, just small slats as he brought you closer to him. You better cut your eye to that right now and behave. His grip softened and his hand slowly trailed down your neck. You'll be staying here for a long time. Thank you guys for listening. Hope you liked the video. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Goodbye!